Well, that's the wrong camera.
What's going on?
Oh, hold on, man. How are you?
I don't know how this is going to go today. I spent a lot of time in the sauna today at the gym, and I'm wondering if the cold's going to kick my ass. So.
Sounds like it's probably going to. Because I debated it and then decided not to. Welcome, everyone, to another conversation over drinks with myself, Coach Wolverine, and Coach Kelowna. Today, we're going to talk to you about letting go of expectations. And just give me 1 second and I'll hop in the tub. No, I still. Why do we do this some days? Woo. All right, my man. I want to ask you first, what does letting go of expectations mean to you?
So I think for me, kind of two sides. There's like external expectations, which are like my expectations of whether it be people around me, or then there's internal expectations for myself. A lot of similarities and then some differences. One is, for myself, I don't have to have a conversation with myself about expectations typically. I just expect them. Whereas the communication factor that comes in with outside is, I think, where letting go of expectations from A to B as you switch relationships or switch roles, I think, is kind of the biggest thing.
Right. Well, that'll make sense. So one thing that's been pressing on me for the last little bit, actually, is accepting the reality that is in front of us, letting go of the idea of what could be. And in my life, I've been currently learning that when we hold on to this expectation of what could be, instead of just accepting the moment for what it is right now, and enjoying the moment for what it is right now, we are actually single-handedly robbing ourselves of the moments that is going on right now, especially when expectations don't follow through with what we had hoped for. Now, whether it be situations in life, whether it be relationships, whether it be fitness goals, and I very much resonate with the fitness goals. Having expectations on the platform of hitting certain numbers and then not hitting those numbers, and then going into a little mini dip or depression when those numbers weren't met, and thinking to myself that, wow, that was a waste of the last 10 weeks of prep. However, then what I learned is just enjoying the process and enjoying the journey for what it is, and then being in the moments, whether or not it's a failure or a success, and just taking it for what it is, right? So I find it's all a matter of perception, right?
Perception and presence, right? Like the biggest thing with the presence is you soak in more of that journey, and at the end of it all, you've got a lot more to look back on. And at that point, when you're doing things like you said, like not hitting expectations, because you were present, because you were putting in those things, not only are you more likely to get closer to your expectations, but you're more likely to have a lot more to look back on and reflect on to grow forward.
Right.
So I know we talk about results focus all the time, like, all that matters is the result. It's like, okay, but especially in coaching, right? Like, we can get results in 6 weeks or we can get results in 6 months, but which one's going to develop longer habits? Which one's going to give us more time to go through ebbs and flows and prepare each other, prepare things for be better prepared for everything, right? Like, you don't learn a lot in 6 weeks to get the results, but you're going to learn a lot more in 6 months, and you're going to have more habits and more good things. I guess that's all I'm trying to say. I have a little bit on my armpit, and it's really cool.
I'm currently frozen. This is not as bad as the cryo spa last week, but it still sucks.
It's different.
So another thing too that I want to touch is even expectations in relationships with friends, families, significant others, and whatnot. And holding on to these expectations can lead to a lot of very seated, toxic, habitual thinking, And what I mean by that is when we build ourselves around an idea, that's all it is. It's an idea, right? It's like striving for a goal or a vision. You have a vision, setbacks we're easily able to overcome. Whereas if we have a goal, if there's a setback, psychologically it feels a hell of a lot more detrimental than what it is. Whereas when we are self-focused and have a vision of what we truly want out of life, and we close certain doors on expectations to allow my train of thought is not there today with this cold man, but when we allow ourselves to...
That's a part of it.
What's that, sorry?
That's a part of it. Trying to hold our thoughts and stuff definitely isn't as easy as it looks some days.
No, it's not. So when we allow ourselves to accept, when we close those doors on those expectations and we allow ourselves to accept what can actually happen in life by living in the moment and truly enjoying what is in the moment and enjoying the journey of it, not this tangible end goal of what if, that's when our lives start to begin. That's when actual value is I feel is built in around what we do. It's what puts the pep in our step. It's what is the rooted behind the motivation, or this is what my experience has been anyways. You know, motivating to do that 1% better each day, whether it be taking an extra rest day, whether it be hitting the gym extra hard, or whether it be simply disconnecting with certain people in life that need to have disconnection from. And I know that for myself, as soon as I started realizing that holding on to expectations were starting to plant these toxic seeds around these what ifs. It's just as bad as having an anxiety attack or a panic attack, right? We have 1,000,001 different scenarios in our mind of these what ifs. And the actual probability of any of these what ifs happening is so ever slightly little. It's small. And so that's what's been resonating with me for the last few weeks. And it's a topic that I'm going to want to touch on here a lot in the next coming weeks, because as everything is unfolding, new opportunities and new windows have been presenting themselves.
And if I just jump in for a sec, as you're saying with doors opening and closing all the time, if you're constantly looking for this certain narrow focused pathway that's like a singular goal, which it's great to have goals that you're super passionate about and they're super hyper focused, but you can't do that 24 hours a day. There's got to be things there. So the whole thing is when other opportunities come up, if you're not present in the day or paying attention, like whether you're going through a low mental week or hey, something big's going on and it's got you with your head in the clouds somewhere else, you're actively missing out on opportunities. Like you never know, like sometimes if you don't have anything pressing and you end up having a great conversation with someone, I know this is something I do regularly, like if I get into a great conversation with someone at the store, at the gym, sometimes it throws my day off by about 30 minutes, but it's a great conversation with a great opportunity to learn. I pick up things that like I don't know about. So you write it down, you get things that you can go research and look up, better help people connect more people together. It's, I know that I find a lot of value in that. Instead of trying to rush through, like I got to get 37 things done by 3:30. It's like if I get it done by 4:30, I don't have anything after 4:30, then I can figure it out. It's just like I don't lose out on those conversations and those opportunities to just be present and be present in the presence of someone else. Like this is what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely. Actually, it's funny that you bring up that specific topic because I was talking with a client of mine this morning, actually, where he was outlining that exact same thing, right? Actually, it was around financial gain or financial freedom, let me rephrase that. And it was around, investing in those, those conversations, those powerful conversations that can happen now, right? Nothing might happen of it now, but that person's life, just by investing that 10, 15, 20 minutes of time in a valuable conversation, could very well change their life in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever. Or even somebody simply passing by that overheard, eavesdropping on your conversation a little bit, right? I've had that happen too, standing in the gym, or even you and I at the store when we're having conversations. People walk by, and all of a sudden they're coming in and joining into the conversation. And so, yeah, it's another thing too, is when you're holding on to these expectations and you're always on that time crunch of like, I gotta be this, I gotta do that, and not allowing yourself to just be, to just live. Right? We're robbing ourselves of a lot of opportunity that is quite literally in front of ourselves, as long as we have our eyes open to that opportunity.
And that's not to say, again, like, that's not to say structure is bad. Like, it's great to have structure, it's great to have routines, it's
Absolutely.
great to have things, but we need to be present when an opportunity comes up, that we're not going to start getting anxious because our routine starts throwing off, because then we're missing out on other things, right? Like, there's got to be some freedom in there, and depending on the circles you read up, there's a lot of really successful people that actually program like free space into their days, wiggle room, time, those things, right? Like, it doesn't have to be 30-minute blocks of everything perfect all the time. We're not machines, we're not robots, so why would we try and act like that?
Yeah, exactly, and I agree with you. Having a structure and schedule is great, but if something comes up, we're human. Don't hate on ourselves for taking, oh man, I'm 5 minutes late here, right? It happens to the best of us. I was late to our last one last week because I got caught up in conversation. It happens to the best of us.
You were late. I got to have a great conversation with the lady that works at the recovery lab. So like, there's just you just take what's there and you make the best of it. Like, yeah, sometimes things get annoying, but you can't let that throw the rest of your hours off. There's obviously going to be things that are going to be more frustrating than others, or things that are like non-negotiables, to use the lack of a better term. But there's that freedom and that presence that has to be there, and that's what's going to lead to, as you said, letting go of expectations. Right. And, another thing on expectations, I think the biggest thing for me is expectations that aren't said or like discussed. Especially when you're doing it with friends, whatever, family, everything. Like, if there's never a conversation around it, that's where you kind of get a back and forth of expectations, and as you said, can lead to toxicity and cycles and blah blah blah. But I know when you said today, like, letting go of expectations, I was like, oh man, that's a huge topic. I'm gonna get way too old. So I am losing it here.
I forgot to set a timer. I don't even know what time we're at.
I don't know, man, but the back of my head, that's enough. So
I think we're at 10 minutes. All right, ladies, gentlemen, just to recap, it's important to live in the now, let go of expectations, enjoy what's happening in front of you, because this moment that is going on right now, it's it. That's all we get. We don't get this moment. We don't get a redo. This is not Mario. We don't get another life. Do what makes you happy now. Do what vibes with your soul now. And when you start closing doors on people or things or habits or, you know, whatever it is that isn't aligned with you and aligned with your purpose, you will open up those doors for so many greater things in this life that you're going to be asking yourself, like, how in the hell is this even happening right now? And it's because you made the choice to open up that door.
Right. Anyone around you, like, you pass them by, people smile, enjoy it, right? You never know if someone wants to see it. We don't have to wear masks anymore. Like, I know it's been a few weeks, but smile, guys. Like, I had a lady come up to me at the gym the other day, and she's like, I don't want to offend you or anything, but like, your smiling is great, and thank you. And I was like, oh man, like, it's a great compliment. It was a super great thing to hear. So it's like, you don't know what something like that's going to do, right? Just like smile, walk around with your head up, have some fun with what's going on, and just like, don't just go through the motions of every day, because you're just going to wake up and wait to go to bed. It's not that sweet.
Absolutely. Well,
that's it for
I
me, man.
can't feel my legs anymore, so I'm done. Thank you very much for today. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. This will be up on YouTube later this week. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Cheers.
Absolutely. Over to the stories as well, guys. I've got a little announcement I wanted today, so we can put some work in and have some fun this summer in the fields. So I look forward to it.
Absolutely. Bye, everyone.
Take it easy, brother.